Give it a couple seconds here. How is everybody doing? It is an absolutely gorgeous day here today. Blue sky. A little bit overcast. I don't like the overcast. I like the blue sky, but pretty good. I'm doing fine. Thank you. Okay. So part of LowTech Mama's current situation involves some changes when it comes to the kids' school. So I'm actively looking for a different school, and anyway, it's a long story and it doesn't matter, but what does matter is that a low tech or no tech environment is what I'm looking for. And it's funny because I've toured a lot of schools in this area and different areas, and it's kind of it's kind of a sad state of affairs that all the schools are so tech heavy. Does that make sense? I know that like STEM is a buzzword, STEAM is a buzzword. I've seen some religious school where it's STREAM, where they put like, so STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math. Then there's STEAM, where they put art in there, so it's science, technology, art, engineering, and math. And now the newest thing is STREAM, where they have science, religion, technology, art, engineering, and math. And it's like, you guys, I'm kind of over the acronyms, I don't like when I tour a school and they have a big poster that says STEAM or STREAM or STEM, whatever the school chooses to use. Like, that doesn't do anything for me, I toured a school once where they had a robotics class for kindergartners, and I'm like, really, I don't need my kindergartner to take a robotics class, Hi, Brianna. Hi, Kayesta. Thanks for joining. So anyway, I'm really struggling with finding a school that sort of matches what I'm looking for. I want more human connection and less technology connection. So, a buzzword that I've heard at schools, in addition to the whole STEM thing, is like a 1-to-1 student technology ratio. It's like, what does that even mean? They have like a 35-to-1 student teacher ratio, but a 1-to-1 technology. So in other words, so what that means in plain English is like, give your kid like an iPad. It's like, but does my, I don't want my kids sitting in front of the iPad. That's the whole point. I want a teacher who's engaged. I want a teacher who actually reviews the information and that knows my child. And so somebody like me, school hunting is a picky customer. So I'm meeting with a local pastor right now who also runs a church, a school. And they are committed to a low technology environment. And I don't know what low technology environment means, so I'm going to look at it. While I generally don't want any, screen time for my kids at school, I am open-minded if it's, like they have a typing class or something, that's low technology, But does it mean maybe we just do like an hour of like work on an iPad? Like that would be like a no for me, you know what I mean? So we'll see. The other thing that's a little tricky is their kind of renovating the space. So I don't know what I'll be able to see today. He invited me to come in and look, so I'm coming to look. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, how's everybody else doing? Thanks for all the hearts and the love. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, of course. Is it sunny where you are? Where is everybody? You know, it's weird. I get these statistics to see like where everybody's from that's watching my lives, and it's, I don't know, it's like, 30% US or something, 2% UK, and then the other one, it doesn't break it down like in country. Like, where are you guys watching me from right now? Where are you located? And it would interest me a lot, like, if you're in a different country, how much technology is in your schools? It's 11:45 p.m. Brianna, you must be somewhere very far away from me. You're in Australia? Oh my goodness, hi. Super. Isn't it amazing? Like, as much as I like rip on technology, some parts of it are amazing. It can be used for some really cool stuff. I mean, the fact that you're in Australia right now and I'm in the US and we can have this conversation is really cool. I love that. It's really nice. So in Australia, are the schools tech heavy, would you say? Do the children spend a lot of time? It's so cool, right? I agree. It's like, it's magic. I'm literally like in my car. I don't know where you are right now, but you're somewhere in Australia doing whatever you're doing in Australia, and we can connect. And that's the two-edged sword of technology. It's like, man, it's the most wonderful thing, and yet it can also be so destructive. And I think for children is where it kind of gets tricky, because our children, I don't think they, I can make, like, I'm an adult, I can make conscious choices of how to engage in technology, how to, what platforms to be on, what to do, and so forth. I think if you're a child, I think it becomes harder. Okay, not really, but we have iPads to search up things for learning, and our laptops called BYODs. Okay. Yeah, so, if, I guess, so, my kids have looked things up on the computer too. So when we're talking about like ancient Rome or whatever, showing them images helps as opposed to just seeing it in a book. Like, I get that. But for example, here, the local library doesn't have any restrictions as far as like the computers go. Oh, bring your own device. Okay. Okay, so you're able to, but are they, in Australia, are the devices restricted as far as what you can pull up? Is there any safeguards on those? Because, I mean, it's so weird, like, a simple internet search about something can really yield some gory results that are just really not, not really appropriate, I guess. So I'd be curious how they handle that. I mean, I took my kids to the library. They have a computer there, and the kids wanted to play like a learning game. And I asked the librarian, I'm like, hey, are your computers restricted? Because I had to go do a meeting. So I was like, I'm going to be like not paying attention. Are these computers like restricted or monitored? And she goes, no, they're not restricted. They're not monitored. I'm like, well, we're in the kids section of the library, so they could look up anything they wanted to. And the lady's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. So I set up my meeting right next to my kids so I could keep an eye out, Okay, you can't bring your phone. That's good. Locally where I'm at here, there's been a big debate about phones in schools, because for a while they were allowed to be brought to school. Not my children's school, but like the public schools around here. And then there was more of a move of parents and school boards saying, hey, we're going to restrict them being brought in, but then you had like a contingent of parents that threw a fit about it. We're like, well, what if we can't get in touch with our kid? So you have like these two camps. Like, you have people that say, well, the kids don't need a phone in school because they're in school, and then you have another contingent of people that say, well, I want to be able to get a hold of my kid in school. Now, it's weird because like we all went to school without a cell phone. My parents, I mean, I thought I was like the hippest person ever when I had like a pager. Did you guys ever have a pager back in the 90s? But anyway, but the point is like the parents' idea of like I need to talk to my child is kind of weird, you know. But then again, so the other thing that I find weird is that many schools are kind of restrictive of even letting parents in to the classroom to see their child. So we've been super lucky because the school that we're at doesn't allow cell phones, but it allows parents. So if you need your kid, you can go to the school and talk to your kid. And not that any parent really ever does it, but it's nice to know that you're allowed in there because it's your child, and it's, yeah, that's how it is. So I think that's, you know, you can't make everybody happy. So I'm happy to hear that in Australia, where you are, the kids can't bring phones to class, because trust me, if I had been a teenager with a cell phone that's connected to the internet, that would have been so much more interesting than whatever is going on in the class, right? I mean, let's be honest, like you would be on a shopping site, or you would look at clothes, or you would look at whatever you're into, much more than you would be interested in what's being talked about. And you could probably do a lot of digital note passing and texting your friends. So that would be something. Well, parents are only allowed to go into the school only if you go to the office and get a slip. Okay, so in Australia where you are, parents can go to the school, but they need to check in the office. Yeah, that's how it is at our school too. And parents are pretty, I guess they're invited to join, you know, field trips or other activities, which I always think is really cool. I think that's beneficial, right? But it's, you know, I think it's just a slippery slope. Like I toured a school the other day, I won't say its name, but you know, the technology there just was like so ill-placed. So first of all, they have these smart boards in the classroom, and again, in second grade, a smart board, you know, so the kids can quote review notes. Like what second grader is going to go back and watch it, you know? This school also filmed all of the classes. Students, which I found sketchy. Isn't that weird to film the like, why would you film the students? But anyway, if I was the teacher working there, I would not want my class filmed. And when I asked the headmaster about it, he was like, well, you know, our teachers don't like it. I'm like, yeah, no kidding, right? But his idea was like people can rewatch it later. I mean, really, you know, like, are we really going to rewatch like first grade class over, like, you know, does that make any sense to anybody? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so you guys have second school, but we don't. We have primary school and high school. Okay, yeah, we have elementary school that's like lower grades. Then we have middle school, and then we have high school. But I know it's different. And in your town, there is AGG. What does AGG mean? So many spam calls on my phone. It's ludicrous. But yeah, I don't really want agriculture school is so cool. It is so cool. And that's kind of what's lacking around here. Like the school my kids have been at currently worked a lot with the head and some sports, but not with the hand, you know. And as a matter of fact, I was reading a 1900s book on schooling. It's like how to open a school. It was written in 1900, and it was talking about West Virginia. So it was like a West Virginia related book. And did you know that in West Virginia in the 1900s, they had planting competitions in school where children got land to use. And it was a potato growing competition, or maybe it was corn, or both. I can't remember. But they basically gave each child an acre to work with. Do you all know how big an acre is? An acre is big, okay? So they would let each child use an acre of land, and they would have to document what they did. They were provided the seeds, all the, I mean, no, it's so cool. I know, and it's the coolest thing ever. And they would provide all the tools or whatever. And I mean, think about it. And the children were fairly young that did this, okay? They started it in pretty low grades. And so they would, have the children document how often do you do this or that? Do you pull the weeds? Do you not pull the weeds? Do you plant things in certain, I don't know, whatever, right? And then they would have a competition to see like who had the highest yield, who had the lowest pests, and they kind of went through the whole planting cycle in the school. And I always said to myself, like, if I ever opened a school, it would be doing things with my hands. Oh, I love that idea. You built a wall, Brianna, and then putting all the kids' handprints on it. I mean, I literally just got goosebumps. Exactly. Because children don't just learn with their head. Like, I think a lot of education has become so head heavy, and it's getting worse by the technology. It's made like worse by the technology, I think, so building a wall and putting everybody's handprints in it is amazing, because that's exactly what I mean, and those are some good life skills, because quite frankly, with the rise of AI and just a change in white collar work, and what's gonna be changing, college might not be the best path. I mean, it's never been the best path for everybody, but especially with what's happening in the future, working with your hands could be very satisfying and be a path for a lot of children. I know my son is more of a doer than like a sitter and reader booker, and I think a lot of boys might be. I mean, I'm generalizing, but yeah. So yeah, where are the schools that, or like, think about it, in the US, this kind of predated me, but I guess they used to have like shop class in school, where they would learn to fix cars and change oil, and the girls would learn how to sew and do useful things. I don't know, where did all that go? Now they're just like, here's an iPad. And what is an iPad? An iPad is something you consume, and you don't create, you consume. And so it teaches our children to be consumers more than creators. And that is part of the issue, part of my core issue with a lot of this technology stuff. You have children then that are very good at clicking around on the computer and very bad at anything else. So, and also, here's another thing. And the children being overstimulated, and the screen being beautiful and exciting, and then real life appearing almost boring against it, and then having to deal with boredom and satisfying boredom with more technology and so forth, until the children are completely overdone. So not my cup of tea. But yeah, I'm going to remember, oh man, the AGG school stuff about learning farming. Oh, maybe I need to move to Australia with my kids. Maybe that's the answer. But anyway, I'm a minute away from where I need to be. It was so lovely getting to talk. Brianna, please subscribe. Anybody else, please subscribe and like. That way we can talk more in the future. These parenting issues are challenging, and they are our life's biggest mission, is to do right by our kids, right? It's the most important thing. So please, yes, thank you. And it was so nice to meet you. Hi to Australia. Have a good night. I will have a good day. And thank you all. Bye-bye.